I think I'm live now, and it seems to be a bit fun to do this because I haven't tried the model yet. But it looks to be a good model. Like everybody is very uh, passionate about it, if that's the word. And you see cursors CEO on the live stream as well, which means that there is they and he was very confident saying that this is the best model that they've tried. And let's see how it is. So if you update to the latest version of cursor, you will see that they have let me just open eCam. So I have the comments on the right. Yes. So you see that we have GPT-5, and it also mentions that the context window is 272K. It's not using the 400 that they mentioned. And the version for the main one, the default one, is a medium reasoning, and it is offered for with free credits for paying users during the launch week. So I have the $20 plan, not the $200 one. So the last time I was able to easily hit the limit, so I don't know how much it will be this time. But let's see what the limit is on GPT-5. It should be a long stream, hopefully. I also got myself some tea. And you also have GPT-5 high reasoning, then also a fast one, but the fast one processes at 2x the speed. And when I was trying out, I just did one prompt. The speed is something, especially the first token, is something that is not that fast compared to other models that I've tried. And I would see if I would want to have the 2x price or not. Then you have the GPT-5 low, then high fast, and then low fast as well. So I will also want to have GPT-5 low because for some of the cases I do not actually need the high reasoning effort or even the medium reasoning. So the first thing I asked it was start with hello. I have no idea why I did that, but and it says hi, how are you, and help me with my project. It's for those who do not know. I'm working on a fitness app or health app now. It has macro tracking. I'm working on calorie deficit tracking, and it tracks your sleep data and also your workout data. So it does not have like you cannot record workouts in it. That's something on the roadmap, but not right now. And I just asked it to start with try to understand the code base, and it did a quick discovery pass search for the files. Then I also have this MCP called as the Xcode build MCP. I am trying cursor after a month or so, so everything feels new to me, but the idea is that it will call and discover the projects. I'm using the Xcode 1.1, which is the latest one, released I think of 2 hours ago or 3 hours ago. And then it found the project, then it lists the schemes using the same Xcode MCP, and then it was going through all the projects or the folders. Then it scans for the docs, the revenue cat setup, list the simulators. I think you can see that it listed all the iOS 26 simulators and gives me a high level overview that it is a Swiftware project. There's Zenther core, which has all the shared models, the widgets. There's a web folder as well for the landing site. There's some docs, and the main entry point of the app is this, and then the app lifecycle, core services, features, software modules, widgets, app intents, and configuration, monetization, shared package, blah blah blah. So it gave me an extensive thing that I wanted. So it is a good model. Looking at this first prompt that we have gotten, but we want to see if it is the best model out there or not. So I will still use the GPT-5, the default one, the medium one. And the first thing that I would want to do is directly jump into coding. So I would start with the critical things that are present in the app that is bugging me and is deteriorating. I don't know how to pronounce it well. The idea is that it is making the onboarding experience worse. So when I start out the app, it would definitely directly ask for the notifications, which I do not want. I want to have one specific view that only handles the notifications. So I would start with please go through the whole folder on onboarding and understand how I am doing the notifications. So while it is setting up, can you show GPT-5 in cursor? So it is using GPT-5 in cursor. So this is what the whole stream is about, because it is feeding my shiny object syndrome, and I really want it to just use this and try to see how how much free I can get out of cursor from here. So it is going to scan all the files under the features onboarding, and in the meanwhile, I have been getting very used to working with SwiftUI previews, so I would want to set it up as well. So it's much easier to work with it. And if I go and open the onboarding page, I can already feel my MacBook slowing down. I will turn off the simulator for now, and let's see. I'm 100% sure this is not a good idea to stream the software previews, but let's see. The worst that can happen is the whole MacBook will crash, then I would restart it and then just continue with the stream, right? So uh, I just want to read out the thoughts that it did. So it needs to address the notification handling, and it saw that I'm going to scan for the notification permissions. So the notification permissions is in the app delegate itself, and there's a notification service file that I'm using for building and scheduling the notification itself. And then it would say and find more on the onboarding part, streamlining the notifications. So it now gave me an overview that what I found on onboarding flow. We have the notification permission page, but it is defined but not used. It is doing an empty view. The flow that I have right now is it starts from welcome, then a goal selection page, a health kit permission, then the metabolic setup, which is something that I'm working on new, and it is broken, like kind of broken, completely broken, to be honest. I have not tried it. It was vibe coded using Sonnet 4, so now I have to fix the mess of Sonnet 4 using OpenAI GPT-5, which is a good way to kind of battle the LLMs out there. And then the notification permission, which is a placeholder, comes here, and the personalization. So notification permission is requested globally when the app launches and not in the onboarding. This is something I do not want. So just when you open the app itself, it would directly just open it, which is something I just do not like at all. So that is something that we are going to fix as the first thing to test GPT-5. And you can see that the foreground tap handling handles via the app delegate. So TLDR does not request the permission. So let's go step by step. First is that it should not request directly when the app opens. That's a terrible user experience, especially those who are onboarding for the first time. Then I would want to have the notification view in the onboarding. So please understand the design language of all the other onboarding views and create one for me. And in that view, what I want is that the user should what I want is that you educate or tell the user why are we requesting the notification, and then when they click on the continue button, only then show the alert for allowing the notifications. So this is the prompt that I would go with, and let's see how GPT-5 performs on this. In the meanwhile, I'll try to see if I have any comment section. So the one that I got on YouTube is that, have you noticed a difference in performance with GPT-5 yet? I have just started out, so I'm still trying to see how it works. This is probably the third or the fourth prompt that I have, so we'll just see how that works out for me. And so it says that it thought for 20 seconds. I'm updating to change the set of notifications so it does not call request authorization anymore. And I will create a new file, notification permission view, as part of the onboarding feature. Then I'm going to open the metabolic setup view to confirm how the onboarding moves between the pages. So the idea is that on every click there's a change in the selection of the onboarding page. Then I will add the new notification permission view wired to the onboarding view and adjust the app startup so it does not request automatically. Finally, I will run a quick build to catch any compilation issues. So this is what I would expect from a great model which is trained for really good instruction following. So whatever I had wanted to convey it with my prompt, it is giving me a summary that it will do that as well. And then it thought 30 seconds again, and now it is designing the notification permission view. So it says that it will use the animated mesh gradients view, which I'm using in the other view. So it did have a look at them, the dark color scheme, the large titles, explanatory text, and the prominent CTA. Then you will explain the reason and like the workout summaries and daily motivation. So it also went, because earlier it went through the notification service file, so it knew that why I'm using the notifications for, and based on that it will create the option or the text or description for why the user should use the notification and or like allow the notifications, and then it will use the setup notifications. And then it also, one thing that I'm liking is that it actually went through in detail, like it is also implementing the haptic feedback and make some flow adjustments. So when the authorization is denied, it will proceed to the personalization, and it will also return to the notification permission. So this part is let me update the handle continue method. Lastly, I should modify setup notification to set the delegate instead of requesting upfront. Okay, I'm going to implement a dedicated onboarding notification screen wired to blah blah blah. It has now started creating it, and it has made some changes. So let's have a look. So on the main page I was doing the dot task and await setup notification, so that's gone. Good, I will accept a yes on this. On the onboarding view, now we have a notification permission view that takes the current page. Okay, amazing. There's an onboarding state. It did not, okay, we already had the notification permission, that's why I did not make any changes. We have 186 lines of the new onboarding permission page, and it also added the previews, so I'm happy it is following it in a very nicer way. So I can try and see how it looks if I go back to the onboarding permission view. Hopefully it does not crashes my Mac. So one thing it missed was that it has to use the Zenther core to import the theme manager. So that means we are still not at AGI yet. This is something I would have assumed that it would do it automatically, because the other views are importing the Zenther core for getting the theme manager. And then in the metabolic setup, it will change the current page to the last one, which is the personalization one, and then use the current page as the notification permission one instead. And it is using the Xcode build MCP to call the iPhone 16 Pro. And then we see that there are some errors, and the iOS simulator build failed for Zenther, and it is preparing the next move. So I noticed something wrong with the extra compilation. I should mirror the same thing. Okay, and I have to make sure that it is using Xcode latest one, because I have Xcode beta 2, so I have to make sure that it is using Xcode. Please use Xcode beta 2, because this is it is not in the applications folder. So this is something on my part that I should have added in some rules somewhere. So in the meanwhile, look at the comments. What's your take on using? Are we at the risk of losing our ability to think logically and solve problems independently? It depends on how, I would just add it to the broadcast. So it depends on how you take AI assisted coding, as if you are using it as a crutch. Like if I just turned off my internet, I know I can still code a bit and then just get adapted to it, because I have been doing it for a long time and I can go back to coding the manual way that's how it is. I have a good code base. I won't say a great one. There's still a lot of technical debt that has been created because I've been pushing very hard on adding new features and a lot of new features. But I still feel that it is, I won't say it's you're losing your ability, but it is definitely affecting your ability in a way if you are getting too dependent on it. Because there were times where I realized that I would just be so lazy and directly use cursor and not just think at all. And in this case, this was a prompt that I could already visualize on how I would go about doing that. So in this case, I do not think it's a something that was hindering my logical thinking and my problem solving. But if I had taken some more decisions on the design or something like that, this is something that we'll cover later on the metabolic setup view. That's when I would want to use my own brains and I would want to talk it out loud before as a prompt itself. So this is one thing I like about writing prompts, that I can think it out loud in the text editor itself and use my brain and then kind of augment the, how do I say it, augment with more code, or like give it more context so the AI can understand what I really wanted to use. So let's see what cursor is doing. And let me just remove this from the broadcast. So if you have any questions, just let me know, because sometimes the build can take a bit of time and then I can answer the questions in the meanwhile. So Xcode is set to use Xcode beta 2 and changes made. I just want to see that it is, did you successfully build it? I don't think it did. uh, Next step, okay, build and run with when you're ready. I can run a simulator build. Please do so and do it on iOS 26. So if I go back and I see this is one error that I see, the other is, I think this is the only error that I see, and I can solve it on my own, but I still want to see what's the logical thinking of GPT-5 not adding the theme manager in this view on its own, because this is a very basic thing that I would expect it to do on its own. So it is building and running the Zenther scheme. It boots, like this is the workflow that I would go with. Build it with a dedicated derived path, install the build to the simulator and launch using the app's bundle identifier. So it is calling the MCP tool to list all the simulators, and they are going through the same flow. Let me see how's the situation on. So I can see that while I am using cursor, Windsurf also has GPT-5 available free for a limited time, which is cool. So you get more options. So if you prefer using cursor, you can do that for free here, or as well as do it on Windsurf as well. And one thing that I noticed is how cheap, I won't say cheap is a word, reasonable, how reasonably priced GPT-5 is. The output is $10 per 1 million token, and to compare it to Opus, which is Anthropic's top model, it is $75 per million token. So that's a huge difference. And even Sonnet 4 is $15 per million token. So you can see that they really try to compete on the price with the other labs out there. And let's see. So it did build the project. It is still getting into some errors. So it is saying the database is locked. I think the database is locked because it is trying to run this a simulator. So I need to not do it. Yeah. So now it is trying it again. The database is locked because of the two concurrent bills, and I'll just ask it to do it. Please try again. I'm very stubborn here. When I know I can just have it, I can just click on Xcode and fix it myself to view it. I just want GPT to know why I did not do it the way I wanted it to do. It is taking I feel like the GPUs at OpenAI's office are melting already, and it is a bit slow compared to working with Sonnet 4 that I'm used to, and even Gemini 2.5 was a bit slower than Sonnet 4, but uh, so now it is going to go with fresh derived data directory to avoid the database lock. That means it will take a bit of a time because it is now cleaning the project and having this. So this is a new thing. I would say I haven't seen it around. Maybe I haven't noticed it much, but it is creating a dot derived data path in the build itself, like a custom one, and the name is iOS 26 run 002, which is something I haven't seen other models do before. And it is for some reason using the build action debug, and I'm not sure if it is. I don't think it is because of the project itself or the MCP tool that is causing the problem. So now you can see that the derived data is using the run 003 instead with the given simulator ID. And now we don't see anything. I guess we are waiting on something because I see that there are so many commands, refresh commands happening here. Okay, so that experiment did not go well. So we'll just go to Xcode and then import the core file myself and then build the project just to see if it is working well or not. So while it does that, let me just ask from an you are an expert. So before that, I want to see what was the content that it wrote. As so, it gave me a VStack. So it says. So I was thinking it would just be a paragraph. So it has a benefit row that says daily motivation, get a short boost to keep your strike alive, a quick wrap up when you finish a session, optional nudges tailored to your goals, no spam, no tracking, all on your device. So this is a pretty nice. What do you say? I think I would get rid of this because I plan to add one signal which does track. So it does not it's not, directly does not have access to the health data. I will process the notification that I would want to send using the foundation model or MLX and then give that to one signal. It wouldn't do it directly, but still it is tracking or tracking the user's journey. So this is something that I can get rid of and then stay on track. Is we will only notify you when it matters. Very nice. I can see that the wordings have this more nuance as a more the prompt that I would earlier write, like please do not sound like an AI and sound like a more human. So this is what I feel is a impression that I'm getting from the responses that I'm getting from this model. And we are almost done building my project. The reason the project takes so much time is 100% sure because of MLX. It does add a bit of dependencies for a small project like this. And I have been debating now that we have GPT 5 point. Oh, it's not any point. GPT-5 Nano, which is really well priced. So the input for Nano is $0.05 and the output is $0.4, which is very cheap. And but I still have to see how well the model is, because in my other app meshing I'm still using GPT. What was it? GPT-4 Mini, and I think that was $0.1 or something. So GPT 5 Nano is half the price for the input, because I had a huge system prompt, so I would save half the money on that. But I have to see how well it follows the instruction, but I'm pretty sure it should be better than what I had in GPT-4 versus having it in GPT-4 Mini versus GPT-5 Nano. uh, is Cursor able to feed compiler output of errors to GPT-5? In this case, it wasn't. Usually, it does. I haven't worked with Cursor in a while to understand why it did not. And there are some setups that you have to do so it would get the compile errors directly. And I do not have it set up directly right as of now. So that is the case, that why it isn't taking it. Um, the compiler is directly from Xcode itself. Or yeah, this is the probable reason that I can think of, because usually you would see some it would say it as a linter error or something, and it would get the compiler errors directly here, versus trying to build the whole project to get the compile time errors. So the project did build successfully, so that's a good thing, and I'll want to see how it looks on the UI so I can move forward with this. So this was the thing that I really wanted to nail, and you can see that it would ask uh, I'm not because I have a button style dot glass prominent, which is only available on iOS 26, and because I have to ship it on iOS 18 as well, which uses Xcode 16.4, I have to add the compiler flag as well and do the if else end if pattern. I can take this into a view modifier, which is something that I'm doing for the glass effect, which is like a glass card modifier. So if I go and see this view, you can see this is what I'm doing. So I can just directly use the glass card modifier, so it's called as dot glass card everywhere, and it would do the compiler if else for me on the or on the view itself. So I can create a button modifier or button style similar to this for these, because this code is kind of being repeated on a lot of places, and I can use GPT-5 health in doing this as well. So let's see. Got it. Yeah, the VS Code cursor LSP needs to be integrated with something like this, the GitHub's 10 in VS Code Xcode build tools. I was earlier using SweetPad, but that was back in October. Yeah, that was back in October, November. That's how I was using the LSP for getting the compile output. And there's a very nice blog post by my friend Thomas Rickard, the French guy, and he has some amazing articles on working with Cursor. I haven't been working with Cursor for a long time, so I haven't, like, I did not need to have the LSP, but he has been using it every day with Cursor, so you should definitely check out his blog posts. And is it not available on the Chat GPT app yet? I do not think so, because I could not find it on the. I have the free version, so I could not find it there. And my sister is on the pro plan, and she could not find it there as well. I'll just see if she replied to my message, but I'm sure that it, like, she did not. And so I guess we just have to wait for it. And now Open AI has it in the API as well, and I guess they are slowly rolling it out for us. And how many paid AI subscriptions do you have? So the major one that I have is which one do I have? I'm sorry. The one that I have as a paid service, the one that I pay for is Cursor, which is like this $20 plan. Then I have the $40 plan of Grok. I plan to switch back. I don't plan to switch back because I get the check mark, and the check mark helps with the views or the engagements on Twitter. That is the reason I'm using it. I'm barely using it for Grok 4. I did not find the model to be as powerful as I wanted it to be. So that $40 is purely spent on getting that blue check mark and the engagement. And I received a good amount of the payout, the creator payout for the past 2.5 years, which will pay for the next 3 years of the premium plan. So I do not have to worry on paying for that. So this is something I will continue doing. Then I have Perplexity Pro, that is not paid. It is by my internet provider Airtel, that gives me free access for 1 year, and that is something I use for my daily purpose AI stuff. I usually do not use Claude or anything, but this is something I would use for my daily questions. Right now I'm in Bangkok, so when I'm navigating through the places here, Perplexity is what I use. And I also use the ChatGPT free plan a lot because they have been very gracious with the free plan recently, so I'm trying to make the most out of it. And my biggest expense is this plan of Alex Sidebar. It is an AI Xcode tool that you have on the side, on the right side. So this is what I don't like. For full transparency, I do not pay for it. I'm an ex-employee of Alex Sidebar, so I get the unlimited $200 plan as a benefit because I have been using it and using it in my coding streams as well. So it was kind of a partnership between Alex Sidebar and me to use Alex Sidebar for my streams. And I love it. Like, even if I did not get uh, it for free, I would actually buy it on myself, because it is now at a point where I'm using it so much. For the past week, I was literally using for 10 hours a day. That's why I reached out to the founder that, hey, I've been doing it for free, can you also like help me out with the streams then? So this is the reason I use Alex Sidebar a lot, and that's why I have been using Cursor in a long time. I've been trying to do it for the website, but even the website is something that I can use with Alex Sidebar. But I'm not sure if it is available. Like, let me check. I don't think it is available on Alex Sidebar yet. That was the reason I wanted to do it on Cursor itself for GPT-5. Yeah, the GPT-5 is not available in Alex Sidebar. So let's see. I think I would have to let go of trying to build it on SwiftAir previews because it is kind of wasting our time. So we will continue with our chat. And the second thing I want is that for some reason on the TDEE screen, it is giving me. So I got this feedback on App Store Connect, and I would see if I can directly paste it the image so I can also see how it is performing on the vision side. So let me see and go back to my app, my Zenther health tracker, then go to where is it, the screenshot feedback, and get the last one. So I'll take a screenshot of this and then copy it and paste it directly into the chart. So you can see it added the image. So you can see that it says that health kit is unavailable on the total daily expenditure calculation, even though the person said that they already had they're using Apple Watch Ultra and iPhone use 14, so they do have health kit access. For some reason it is saying that it is unavailable. For some reason on the TD screen it is saying health kit unavailable. Please investigate. I'm so used to saying please ultra think after using Cloud Code for a month on Opus, that that's the first thing I would want to use here as well. But I know that I'm using the medium reasoning model, so it does not means anything to say ultra think when it can only medium think. So let's see how it's planning the next moves. So my friend Thomas, he messaged me that it is a good model and it literally solved a problem I could not. So I do feel that it is giving me a state of the art model, and it is just not that it is benchmarked or something. It is actually a good model. And if it is if it fixes, like, in the end what you want from a model is that it will follow all the instructions that you are giving it, and it follows it well like an actual engineer, or how you would do it, and in lesser time, so you can use the time that you have freed up in something else and kind of delegate the whole thing to the AI itself and trust it that it will do a good job. So this is the definition of having a great model, or the best model that you would want in 2025, mid of 25. So it says that I need to respond to the user. It says that another potential cause is the missing entitlement file. I think it lacks the usage description. The problem is that it is trying to find the NS held usage description in the info.plist, but in the latest Xcode, the info.plist is in the default one, and I have not created a separate one. That's why it cannot find it there. I do have the Apple Health Kit background delivery, and I do have the Health Kit option checked, so that is not a problem because I know the whole app is working. It's just this on this screen there's some problem. So while it is doing, I will just try to do it on my own as well. Use my brains and total. Then just get rid of the software previews. On the onboarding views, we have the components, the metabolic setup. So these are the whole setup files that I have, and there's a health kit data review file, the goal selection, and so if I go back, the metabolic setup view is the one that we start with, and here do we have the current setup, can continue. So it is checking HK health score, is health data available, and I think the problem is that I'm checking for the health before or afterwards. So if I go back and check the chats that we had, so it gave me the workflow on how it is working, right? So it does welcome, goal selection, health kit permission, then the metabolic setup. So after doing the health kit permission, it does have access to the metabolic setup, where it would give me the approval if the user has actually approved it. And in the info.plist, it's trying to add it. I don't want it to add it because it is already there. It works. I will open so it is going with the thing that it is the health data is available, like it is because of the entitlements. I know that's not the reason. And let's see, improving the health kit handling simulator, it's not about the simulator as well. And so it is working very well. The whole app is working, so that is not the problem, because after the user gives permission in the quick health view, it does work. And I have tested it on real device, and the screenshot is from the real device as well. I think at this point I'm losing my patience. So what I would do is just take this and add it here itself and just have it as one and use GPT-5 fast. That would burn twice the credits, but at least it would work faster, hopefully. And you can see for some reason the whole view is refreshing in cursor. I have no idea why it's happening. It feels like a regression introduced in, which version am I on? I think it's point 1.4.2, and it is searching for the body measurements, metabolic setup. Not sure why it's going through these files. I could suggest changing the message to missing body measurements. So it says that it is a case like the healthcare data has basic data, and so so do you think if the user does not have the body measurement, it is saying health kit unavailable instead? So that would be a good debugging point to start with. So it says that missing either date of birth or the body measurement is leading to this error. It seems wide to implement a manual entry solution. I need to respond and that how it calls any of this is missing, and it will display unavailable when the critical fields are absent. And but I thought that the last time I was working on Sonnet did add the manual entry views, so there should be some manual entry views. Please check if there are manual entry views for the relevant. So it says that I see the screenshot confirms the flow is in block, but the messaging says that. So yes, missing body measurements are treated as an error and shows as health kit unavailable. So even if they are missing or zero, it will say that data type not available. So it says treat no measurements as a non-error and go straight to the manual entry selection, which is what, or change the copy to show no measurement found in health. So instead of saying, no, I think it's better to just use the preferred one. Use the preferred one, because that is what a good user experience will feel like. So the idea was that a lot of the fitness apps out there, even though you can access the health, the body weight and the height, they would manually ask you to enter it, which is something I feel is inconvenient. So if there is some data actually there, just pick that out and directly use it. Otherwise, if this is not available, just use the manual entry view like a normal app would use. Like, it is very similar to how you have the auto completion of your name or your email ID that you would want to fill in a login form directly. So it provides a bit of the convenience to the user, and it feels more like a polished app where you're paying extra attention to the details. So implement the fallback you wanted. It did do that. So you can see that if the data type is not available, it would happen here. You think it did not like my four spaces spacing. I think that was the problem. Yeah. So on real device, it would just go to the manual entry. So I would want to build the app directly on my phone. I do not want to go through the MCP because I'm not sure what's wrong, and for the sake of time, I would prefer to have it much faster. So let's see what we have on Twitter. Thank you to our partners at Microsoft. And is there something I can read out to entertain you guys? So Thomas also mentioned that it is slow, but it is good. So it does feel like it is taking its time out to think of the solution, and that is what you want. Instead of doing it a few times, it's better to get the solution after letting it think. And as you, if you have used cloud code before, you would realize that it tries to, and it would analyze the code, and instead of trying to fix the particular problem, it would just go bonkers and refactor the whole code as much as it can, because it just has now access to your code base. So there's this meme where the Bugs Bunny will be like, it's our code base, but GPT-5 feels like it finds the exact problem and only fix that exact problem and touches nothing else. This is what it feels like to me, but we'll only know when the app actually builds perfectly on my phone. So I will delete the app from my phone so I can see the actual onboarding process, and then be able to compare both the things, like the notification problem that I was facing and the other one. And when the build is stuck like this, it usually feels like it is the problem of, I forgot, the compiler not being able to break down the expression into sub expressions or something. But I just don't know why it is so slow today. Otherwise it's never so slow. So if I go to the activity monitor, we would understand what's the problem. So we can see the CPU has some good amount of load, and the software that I'm using for doing the live recording is a huge bottleneck. Even the cursor help is a 45%. The kernel task, it's because the MacBook is overheated. That is the big reason. I do not find Xcode for some reason here. It's taking way less than I would have expected it to do. That's impressive. So if you're watching, so I got so many comments in the meanwhile, so I can take one guess who is here. Haven't seen launch yet. What's new? What features are you working on? How much? So I'll take the questions one by one. How much free credits do you get for GPT-5 during the launch week? I have no idea. They just use the word free credits for the paying users. They haven't mentioned, they have always been vague about it and how much the free version would be. I think when Cursor was Team Anthropic, or they would do the 3.7 for free, and they would, I was able to not hit the limit at all, so that was very cool on their side. And the app has opened. I don't think it's visible. Oh, I can just use iPhone mirroring. What was I even doing? So as I said, I don't know how much free credits we get. There's only one way to find out, is by just trying to see how much I can extend before I get the notification that you are hitting the rate limit or something. And I don't know why it did not open the app. Let me just see. So why screen first? I will take the other questions. Have you noticed noticeable improvements on GPT-5 compared to other models in this series, which is the GPT-4o mini and 4.0? I did not use much of 4.1. I really think that it is a really nice model to work with. I still am not in the same sync of how I am with Sonnet 4, working exclusively for with that model for the past 20 days. Before that I was using Opus for a month, and then before that it was Sonnet 4 as well. So I haven't been using OpenAI models much. Even O3 is something that everybody would say that it is an amazing model, but I did not find it that amazing compared to Sonnet, so I never gave much attention to these models. But I do feel like I would use or try to use as much as I can of the free version of GPT-5 on Cursor. And I'm if I run out of the credits here, I would just go and use windsurf as well, or pay $20 to use windsurf. Is it 20 or is it 15? I forgot. And haven't seen the GPT-5 launch. What's new? It's a new model. There are three new models: GPT-5, GPT-5 Mini, and Nano. And another one is GPT-5 Chat, which is optimized for chatting. And they have been constantly saying that the model is not meant, like, you should not look at the benchmarks for when working on the model. It is actually trained very well for working with in real life use cases, and this is something that only time will tell. But for the coding, it does look like it will turn out to be a really good model, and I can replace Sonnet 4 with GPT-5, especially because I was getting tired on how much changes it would make, and I would have to constantly reiterate or have it in the cursor rules or the Alex rules to not make so much changes. But when I would say that, it felt like it would take some it would get offended, and then it would give me much more shorter responses. I have no idea why it is stuck on this. Let's see if it runs on the phone. Still a white screen. I will try to directly plug it in the phone and see if that helps. Ask it to implement the in-app workout tracking. I think I would actually do that. I would literally actually try to have it work on the bigger features that I had planned earlier. Do LLMs have feelings? I'm sorry, I'm not saying that it is. I'm not like, it's just that it is. It's not about the feelings. It's just that Sonnet or Opus are trained so well to follow the instructions. So if I say that if do not respond, like, do not refactor everything, it would take it to heart. It's more on the metaphorical term. It's not about if the models have feelings or not, and we never know, because how well, if you have seen the GPT-5 stream, you will realize that when it was writing the eulogy, it really sounded human, and for I would want to use this model for my writing as well, for my foundation models chapter that I'm working on the book, because it does feel like, because I have been using Cursor for working on my book, so it's much easier to use the new model here as well, especially when I'm getting it for free, so why not? And so for some reason, it is just not working on my phone, so I will do one last attempt and try to run it on the simulator and see if that works. Otherwise, we will call it a day, because it's getting late, and I wanted to work more on this model, but I wasn't able to do what I wanted to accomplish. So it feels like I'm kind of wasting an hour, like something that I could have done in 5 minutes. I spent a whole hour of yapping and not being able to test what I wanted. So this is one downside of doing streams, because I feel like sometimes I'm way more productive. If you have seen the stream on the screenshots, I was able to complete the screenshots in half an hour versus not being able to do much in the stream. If I'm able to solve the things that I wanted, like, I started out with, these were the critical flaws in the onboarding that I really wanted to fix. If it is able to solve that, then I will be much more happier. But for now, it feels like my MacBook is does not like, so it feels like I can see the logs. So okay, so let's see, I can find some bugs already. So I will just open screen mirroring. And put it in the middle. So you can see earlier, if you would have used the app, it would directly say to allow notification. That was very terrible user experience. Now it does not, because now I have moved it to a separate screen. So GPT-5, it's a very basic thing, so it's something that I cannot, it's a bare minimum that you expect from a LLM in mid 25, so that's okay. This orange color, it should not be orange color, it should be something, it should take the theme manager. This code is very old. This is so Arya V, to answer your question, I started working on this app a month ago, and I feel like I have achieved a bit in the last 1 month, but still feel I could have achieved much more. And because I'm in light mode, the first screen should not use the dark mode, it should also now use the light mode. So when I click on continue, like you can see the disparity in the screens, because this is something that I was working on uh, differently, and Sonnet 4 wasn't able to keep track of them. Or I should kind of blame myself, because I'm, in the end, it's my app itself. So you can see that the health kit authorization is true, and I'm getting the permissions one for each of them, but it is still giving me uh, health kit unavailable, which is what I was expecting from GPT-5 to fix. It did not. So all the screens now, like this whole workflow is kind of broken, so I cannot move to the next screen, because now it is going to step 5. So this whole workflow is broken, and I have to fix it before I go further. So I will try to use new onboarding. Looks nice. I'm not happy, like this is one thing that I have realized, is that it's okay to it's okay to use uh, it's okay to have very basic UI, but it should be 100% functional, versus having a beautiful design that does not work. You can have this very pretty animated mesh gradients in the background with the noise shaders, but if it is not working, it should not work. Like, yeah. So this is something that I have to fix. And Aryaveer Bajpai, to answer your question, um, I am not using, so I'll just add it to the broadcast, DWD. I'm not using any framework for the UI, it is just Swift UI. And I wish I could have shown, this is a branch that I've been working on, and I cannot fix it until I solve this whole thing, because the main app itself looks very nice, and I have no idea why it is changing the color. So this onboarding is one of the worst UIs or code that I've worked on for the whole app. So now it somehow went to the main screen, and you can see this was the first thing that we are wanting it to work on. So it would now allow the notifications, and then it is working. So this notification part is something that's working, and this was the auto completion that I asked for. And but I still am not happy with how it's taking the tint color. So now it is loading the workout. This onboarding flow will also go in the main view, and I will do just turn on the dark mode, so it just looks much nicer. So this is how the main app looks like, which is much more neater, because this is something that I actually spend time on, but I haven't spent time on what do you say, I haven't spent much time on the onboarding. So this is the first thing that I would do on Friday, which is today. And then I have the dashboard. This is something I'm still working on. I have to finish this as well. And what happened here? Then the nutrition and the sleep. So that's it. Answering the question, just a feedback or question on the logo of the app. It does not seem to be related to fitness. Yes, I agree to that. The main inspiration that I had in the beginning was that this app the app started out as a more of a fitness logger or a tracker, and the icon was more of a Zen symbol. So that's how the name comes from. So it's like Zenther, on like being more calm when I'm working out, and that's why I wanted that symbol. But now that it is more of a calorie tracker as well as sleep tracking, or a more health partner, it does not make sense to have the same UI or even the same color. I would rather go with this purple color, not the orange one. So this is something I have to fix as well in the never ending list of the things that I have to work on. And what are you using for the logger? Print statements. I think it should be print statements if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's print statements. I should use better logging system. I think I'm using OS log somewhere, or import log. Will you release it open source? I do not see any benefit of making it open source as such. A lot of the code that I have in this project is already open sourced. Like for the mesh gradients, the beautiful mesh gradients, you will there's meshing kit. It's called, I will just write it in the comment section because everybody is there. So it's called as meshing kit by Ryan. This is something that you can find on my uh, uh, GitHub page, and then this has all the beautiful mesh gradients that I use directly in my app, and the with noise shaders code. Then on Twitter, I am very active on Twitter, and I have been so lazy that I would not even put efforts in creating a GitHub gist and then just directly put code out there. So the header that you saw, or the mesh gradients, or even this beautiful uh, what is it called, the heat map, the whole code for this heat map, as well as this iOS 18 glass effect, is something that you can directly find on Twitter. So you can go to Twitter and just search for struct and say from Rudrankrium, and there should be many structs that you can directly find. And do you have any modelization in your code? So if I go and scroll down, you will see that I have this Zenther core package, which has all the shared the Zenther AI stuff, and all the health kit stuff, and all the extensions, and the models, and some of the views. All the models are something that I'm directly reusing in the widgets as well, so that's why I wanted to have a more modularized version, and that is the only modularization that I'm doing. I would want to have this Zenther AI separate, because I am feeling that having MLX is kind of becoming a burden on the build times, and I do not want that. I would want to have it as separate, and the health tracking stuff as a easy overlay over health kit. I really think that in this era of working with Sonnet 4 or even GPT-5, it's so much easier to create the health tracking stuff. It's a few prompts. So you usually do not, like, I would want to open source stuff that it will take at least 5 prompts for you to create it on your own. So otherwise, if I can do it in 5 prompts, you can do it as well. And I feel like you should put efforts in doing those 5 prompts yourself, instead of using adding a dependency on your project using an open source code base. So this is what I think. And yes, so the mainstream of working with the GPT-5 did not go well, and I'm not sure if it's my fault. Is it my fault? I would just ask it again, what went wrong. I it is, even after I will just paste the even after providing the health kit permissions, as you can see from the log, it still says health kit unavailable. So I would go back to seeing the comments while it does its work. Okay, no comments. So it is planning the next moves. Even with GPT-5 fast, I feel this is a pretty slow model. I cannot even call it slow because it is doing the reasoning part, but I wish cursor here was a bit more transparent and not opaque, and actually show me the thought process. So it was just saying planning the next move for 26 seconds, and after it was done, then it only showed me this. So it is making a small authorization fix include in the characteristic in the health kit permission request, so that can be read and avoid, so we can avoid treating no measurements as unavailable. But it was supposed to get it directly, right? So it is taking it as essentials now. I hope this uh, thing that it is doing, it's not messing up the code, because I've heard some complaints about cursor not doing the code apply pretty well. So it added this to the auth request. So was it not taking this before? Taking this before. I will delete the app and try to build it again. Before that, I would want to delete the app, and then but this is the thing, if there's no data available, but this is the thing, if no data available, it should go to the manual entry for any of the values that are not provided, right? Why would it even say health kit unavailable? This is something that is AI slop from Sonnet that I'm making GPT-5 clear up. Let's see. Where's the comment section? What happens if you start insulting and stop saying please and thank you? Does it work better? I have realized over the past months of using Opus and Sonnet, if you are more nicer to it, it would actually work better. And if you try to insult it and use curse words, it would try to help you, but the output that I was getting is something that I wasn't happy with. So it's like if from the beginning itself try to be more nicer to it, it's just easier to deal with it as well. And can you make a video for iOS devs on navigating their careers in? I have no idea, man. I do not even have my idea about my own career as well. So I should be the last person to be the one talking about careers, because I actually did not had my own careers. I did not have my own career in iOS development as such. I did not follow the traditional path of going from like job to job. I just did freelance work and the work that I would find fun, and it's been 5 years of doing that. And so many are, including me, are still working on old code bases. Okay, why is okay, it was my mistake, so it was installing on this, not the phone. Managing comments and working is difficult, but I think I'll get used to this over time. So short answer, it said health kit unavailable because of the old flow treated missing measurements as an error. What I changed, load kit, I now catch and fall. So if any of what is Safari bookmark sync agent? So let's see, let's go back to the comments. What, you're an AI influencer? I hate the word influencer. Please do not use that. I think the only influence that you should have is on yourself, and that's it. We're almost there. It's almost building. Yes, build succeeded. So let's go and see the iPhone mirroring part. So you can see I can get some debugging logs from revenue cat. We'll begin the flow, do this, connect, and now it should ask for two more authorizations. So you can see the body fat percent, height, weight, and I think it mentioned two more that it was asking, right? The gender, and then what was it? There was a date of birth as well, right? The date of birth. So these are two. I didn't even know that you could get them directly from here, which is cool. So I learned something new during this stream thanks to GPT. Okay, so it still says health kit unavailable, and it would just continue saying that for some reason. It is still saying health kit unavailable, and the whole flow and the steps have that constantly. Try to skip this whole process, complete setup. So now it checks, think it says that it has hardened the fallback for any health kit fetch except true. The flow now suppresses the error and just proceeds with the manual entry. This will like prevents any persistent health kit enabled banner, and it will given your log. This will keep the user in the flow. If you see the banner anywhere, tell me which screen. I will update that view to respect the health kit equal to and show the manual entry. So let's try to build one last time before I go on and concluding the stream and ending it. And let's see, do I have any more comments? I don't think so. I was really hoping this stream would be much more interesting, but it isn't turning out to be how I expected it to be, and that is usually how life is. But it's okay. So I will have to first delete the app so I can do a flow from the beginning itself. And I will share the screen. Yeah, let's begin. Give access to all the health data. Yeah, so we finally did it. So it now says let's calculate your metabolic profile, and the problem here is that even though it's kind of suppressing the data, it will say enter manually. It should not ask me that because I'm 100% sure that I do have access to the data, and I would just say that okay, let's it is working. It is not saying health kit unavailable anymore, but I am 100% sure that I have the data, but it is not using it and still going with the manual entry. The model is definitely slow, and I would so instead of doing this, I would go with the thing is, I do not want to go with the low one because I'm not sure how much it will affect the reasoning. And for this, I would have wanted it to have some reasoning and think why it's maybe am I missing the date of birth, because I'm 100% sure the health app does have my date of birth and my gender, my weight, my height, all of them are there. So what is the reason? Can you like have some print statements or like log it? Logging sounds more fancy versus calling it print statements. So let's see what it did. Give me a summary of what you did. I do feel the model is a bit faster. It's just because Cursor's whole infrastructure would have been overwhelmed with millions of people trying to use the new model, because and yeah, that's what I think. And let's see what it now says. That it's important to know that if the user has some data, the healthcare data card gets hidden, leading to a manual entry. This situation seems to arrive even if one data is missing, which sucks, right? So if it has all the data, it should, even if there are like three data, it should pre-fill the data and not do that. So in the load, we should avoid setting the use healthcare data at all, which is a very good thing. So I'm very happy with what direction the GPT-5 is going in. And so one option is to treat data not available as partial and use the default values, and then it does the data fetch logic. Okay, so now it will say, it says is that when use healthcare data is selected, each will now uses the healthcare data if available, and you will see the pre-filled values if you have, otherwise the missing ones require input, which is the user experience that I was aiming for. And this is, as I mentioned in the earlier stage, this is something that I feel is that they have been doing very well for this model. It can actually understand well, or it's trained very well on instruction following, and not just instruction following, but following the instructions in a way that uh, it's not trying to impress me like an intern who would want to get a full-time job offer. So it says there's some declaration of height. So looks like I'm back. And does it do the you are absolutely right thing? Yes, it does not. It hasn't done. So it just feels like you're talking to a coworker, which is what I would usually want, and I do not want me like it trying to massage my ego that you are always absolutely right. And yes, the stream was down. I have no idea what happened with my internet connection. I don't think they were happy with me doing a 1.5 hour stream and one length or something. So let's see. I was going through this error that we have, and I do not have LSP set up, so I would just for now directly copy paste the errors. In this case, I like Alex better because it can automatically have the errors that I can work on. And in this case, I should not have used the GPT-5 media model because it's a very simple thing that I can solve myself. I have the stream in the face, so you can see that it is doing an async let weight fetch latest weight, and it's doing a max value. So it is like more of a final weight or final height that I'm looking for here, and I'm awaiting all the results. And I'm not sure if you even have to await them. Do you have to await them? why are you awaiting this value? uh, is it even a async function or fetch latest quantity? Does look like an async function. Okay, nice. Yeah, I did height final and age final. Nice. So now I can build it on my phone. Let's see, do we have more comments in the meanwhile? I Can you change model to GPT-5 and Alex? But I'm always right, you know this. Yes. I I I'm not sure if you can still do open router. I can access GPT-5 using open router, and let's see. Does it have? No, it still does not have GPT-5. And if I see models and APIs, I can add a custom model, or I can directly use OpenAI here. So that works. And open router key, I have some $10 here, so I can just add the model directly here. Just type the name and the max output token, and that's it. That would help me. But I do not want to do it, especially when I know Cursor is giving it for free. Why would I do that to myself? So that is one thing. And then what's next? So the app is running again. I think this will be the actual last time testing this, because I'm getting tired. I'm thinking of going to 7-Eleven and get some food, because it's 3 a.m. and it's nice. I just want to do it for the thrill of it, because I can do it in this city, unlike my city. And so let's see. I think you can use async-let on non-async functions to run stuff in parallel. So this is what I've been doing, because it is actual uh, async functions. They were actually async functions, because it would fetch the data or query the data from HealthKit. I just had not used those APIs before, those particular 3-4 APIs, so I didn't know that. And how much free, I have no idea. I'm still trying to see how much free we get, but it is testing my patience, because how slow it is. So after, when I'm done with the stream, I'll go to the low part. But then it feels like when I'm doing the low part, it's way better to just use Sonnet 4 instead. The only reason I would want to use a GPT-5 is to use the high or medium at least, not the low. So let's see if I go to back to iPhone mirroring. This will be the last attempt. And are you back at home or still at hotel? So I'm here in Bangkok for a month. It's been only a week, so I still have 3 more weeks. I plan to go to Chiang Mai, and then maybe let's see how that goes. Ask GPT-4 to order 7-Eleven for you. I do not have access to. So for some reason it is still saying enter manually, and it's not giving me the data of what I would have wanted. I should have asked it to add logs. Why it is not doing that? But for now I'm kind of done with it, and I would want to actually go back to Sonnet 4 and get it done really fast, because it's just so much faster. So like, if I have to give you an example, if I'm using Sonnet 4 and Alex, how much faster it is if I just use the same prompt that I have. Where is cursor? On Alex sidebar we have Sonnet 4. This is about the health TDE calculation flow on the onboarding screen. So it starts with the thinking process, and I don't think it will take more than 10 seconds. Or maybe it is my internet, because live streaming. It is messing up my internet speed so bad that that's why it is actually uh, affecting the speed of GPT as well. So this is a thing that you should also keep in mind, that maybe it will be much faster for you. It's because I'm using the whole bandwidth for the streaming, that's why it is much slower. But still, it feels like working with Sonnet 4 is way faster than what you have seen on working with GPT 4.5. Sorry, GPT-5. How good is the OSS model? I haven't played with it at all because I feel it wasn't worth the time. And from the reviews I have seen on Twitter, or like the actual based reviews, is that it is benchmark maxed, and the model for mid of 2025 is not good enough, so I don't plan to use it at all. Synthetic data, so that is one of the reasons the model isn't that good enough, what you would expect from a 120 billion model. So it says, now I see the issue. The problem is in the current step logic. Look at this part. The issue is that even if the healthcare data is available, if basic data returns false because one of them is zero, it falls back to manual entry. So now it has done the fix, and now also modify the individual elements and add the debugging. So while I was just saying, it has also started compiling. So you can see that working with Sonnet is way faster even on this slow internet. I'll just do the compilation myself. My MacBook has gotten slower to the point that I basically cannot use it at all. So with that, I would have to wrap up the stream now. So I would, if you are following me on Twitter, you can uh, expect some out. I will quote tweet it and post on how it is working for me, and yeah, that's it. Let me just go through the questions. Love the trust me bro benchmarks. It's better than benchmarking, right? You can make your model more biased towards particular benchmarks and have a higher number. It's like back to being in school, where you would mug up a particular kind of questions and do perform very well, and you would say that you're a maths genius, but that's not how it works. And can can you use RAG or something to give it info about iOS 26 APIs? So if you have followed in the latest iOS 16, Xcode 26 beta, they have a lot of documentations that they have in the main Xcode intelligence, that they are planning to use it and give it as a context. I don't think they are doing RAG on this. Maybe they are. I just haven't played around with the Xcode AI for the new beta 5. And for Alex, we are using or they are using this kind of the RAG system. So you can just say wwdc25, and then it would work and give the context for the new APIs. This is genuinely just GPT 4.5.1, not GPT 5. I am actually on, like, this is something that somebody else on Twitter mentioned as well, that is does look like more of a GPT 4.5 or 4.6, to be honest. And the only difference is that GPT 4.5 was way expensive, GPT 5 is not. So just close this because I can see that it is hogging up a lot of data. And just try to build one last time. Okay, with that, I would uh, plan to end the stream, and I would see if I can impulse buy a new MacBook and start streaming on that, because this isn't going to help me with the next 9 weeks of Shipaton if I have to do it at this pace. This is way unusable at this point. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. If you have been here since the beginning, and if you just joined, have a look at this stream, especially from the beginning where I'm doing a bit on the GPT-5 side, and tell me how it feels. My friend, at least Thomas, is kind of enjoying working with this model, and I hope you would do as well. It is a bit slow model. I thought it would replace my uh, workflow with Sonnet 4, but it does not seem to do that. My main concern is that it is not uh, it's not, the speed is just not there. And if I really want to iterate faster, and Sonnet has given me that speed, so I do not want to make the sacrifice of the speed that I'm getting, because I am kind of contradicting myself, because earlier I said it's better to have the accuracy, but if it's not even giving me the accuracy and it's slow, then it this is not what I would want. I would want speed as well as the main thing. So this is one last install on my phone, and if you want to iterate faster, use your hand GPT, brain GPT. To be honest, the way that I have worked on this app, I don't think I would have done it myself, no matter how hard I tried, especially because I was going through so much of design iterations and everything. It was just not possible to iterate at the speed if I was really coding by myself. And even if I tried to do it, I would have exhausted myself. So let's see, it has now started building. Mhm. So you can see that it is giving an authorization not determined on the lean body mass, but you can see that it gives the 4th October 97, calculated age is 27, I am male, height is 1.78, and weight is 90.5. So it is getting the data that I would have wanted. And I would just give it back and just mention it here. So this is the log I had, but it's still not. So it says that the raw BMI based on the data is this. And you can actually have, there's an HK quantity type identify body mass index, which I didn't know about. So we kind of have the, so it also have the HK identify body. Oh, okay, I know these values because my smart scale does these automatically on its own. But this was the problem, the lean body mass. This was the identifier that it wasn't using. And let's see what thought we got from GPT-5. It's like, I'm considering currently we're calling the fetch function. I don't think, how does this help uh, with the problem? So calculate BMI if not available from health kit, avoid, but it is still giving going into that manual entry zone. But if I'm getting the data, why it's going in that manual entry zone? I'm too tired to fix it, so for now I would just not commit this file and do it on my own. And I think I saw a question from Hunter. So how is GPT? It's a good model. It's a great model. I don't, I cannot say it confidently that it is the best model, but it's been only 1 hour of playing around, and I haven't even done much. Uh, but if it says that it should auto populate, so it says please rebuild and run the onboarding again. So if it is so confident, let's just give it one last try again. I'm sorry, you will have to wait for me. And let's see, we'll do one last build to make sure that it actually works. So as I was saying, GPT-5 for iOS dev, like to give a conclusion, is from what I have seen, it does pass my vibe check, but I don't plan to use it as the default model, uh, unless because speed is a big factor, and the way I would burn through the fast credits, because the fast credits are at 2x of the price, and I do not know, because there's so vagueness with cursor nowadays with the pricing, that you just do not know how much you are going to use. The only time I will know is when I create a new chart, and it would tell me that there's this estimated by this day you will finish it off, and that's very vague. And my plan renewed day before, and the last time I finished in like 10 days, so I really do not know how much uh, I can, like how much limit they are going to give, the free limits for the main app. So this is one last try before I wrap up the stream. And one thing I have to see is that it is taking the body fat percentage, the height, the weight, but it does not take the lean body mass. Body fat percentage, height, weight. Yeah, it does not. I don't know why it was mentioned somewhere in the logs. Oh, so finally we got it working. So it says now use HealthKit data. We found your measurements in Apple HealthKit. And then if I go back, there should be a way to go back, but you did see that it was taking my data, right? So now this whole onboarding screen that I've been working on is now working. And now finally I can say, okay, it's a good model. Okay. And then this also works. I'm just not happy with how it looks. It looks very bland. Like I won't be happy to go through this onboarding flow myself. So I will do another stream on how I plan to do the redesign, because people have been liking the design of this app a lot for some reason. I know it looks pretty, but the app should be functional as well. So let's go, and yeah, so this is it. There's some issue with the health kit because it says 11 days ago, but I did a lot of workouts, and it's just not with my app, it's just how Garmin tracks my data. So when I do a refresh of the data, for some reason the health kit kind of get rid of the data, and I have to refresh it again on Garmin to get it back. And I don't know if it's an iOS 26 bug or if it is general. That's something that we have to figure it out. So with that, I am happy with how it worked out. I will commit the changes. I don't know why the 1,000 changes. I just say please commit the relevant changes that we made. And let's see, do we have any comments? Ship it to the test flight. I think I will do that. And did you fix the delete macro entry bug? I did not, because I haven't logged to yesterday's food as well. I've been barely catching up some sleep. I really have to take a long sleep and then get back to working on this app. So I would make a note of this, and I would make sure that I use GPT-5 to fix that. It shouldn't be a hard thing. It's a very small bug, to be honest. And it added all the changes that it made, and yes, that's it. So with that, what I started out the stream with was fixing the notifications on the onboarding and fixing the flow of the broken flow of the total daily expenditure calculation, which is now working. So it committed the relevant files, and it's on the branch dev, to be honest, because now it's working. And if I go back to the app, one thing I would want to see if it's the dashboard working, because I have set up the profile, so it should automatically get that data, right? So I should not be doing that again. So I feel this part is still broken. It's not taking the data and from the health kit. It's not going to the next step. So this is still broken on this part, so I would not merge this branch right now, and I would focus on fixing this before I do that. But it shouldn't take me more than half an hour if I do not stream it. Streaming is very difficult, to be honest. And with that, thank you so much for being a part of the stream, and I hope you have a good day.